Today is the 22nd of January 2026. Yesterday I spoke about samadhi, concentration, how the mindfulness permits to develop concentration. When mindfulness gets momentum, when mindfulness gets stronger, how that mindfulness allows the concentration to arise. Then I spoke about the non-dispersal, non-dissipation or non-scatteredness characteristic of samadhi, concentration, the unifying quality or the function, the unifying function of the samadhi, and then manifestation as calmness. And at the end of the talk, I mentioned the three types of eliminations, and I was talking about the first elimination that was the tadanga pahana, momentary elimination or temporarily elimination. Through vipassana meditation, when you develop the momentary concentration, khanika samadhi, it dispels, it eliminates the defilements momentarily. That is the tadanga pahana, the momentary elimination. And I gave the example when you observe rising as rising with momentary concentration. At that very moment, defilements are not present in the mind or in the mind stream, because that very momentary concentration does not allow the defilements to arise, or it dispels and eliminates the defilements for that very moment. Similarly, when you observe falling as falling, then next rising, next falling, or you observe the thinking and thoughts, mental objects such as thinking and thoughts, sensations such as pain, aching, numbness, or during walking meditation when you observe the movements of the feet, when momentary concentration is present, that momentary concentration eliminates the defilements momentarily, and that elimination is known as tadanga pahana, momentary elimination. Now we continue to talk about the second elimination. The second elimination is more than a moment, or this elimination, this separation keeps the defilements at a bay, at far distance. The second is vikambana pahana. I repeat, vikambana pahana, the suppression or elimination for more than a moment. More than a moment through jhana, through jhana absorption or strong concentration. This refers to the deeper suppression or deeper elimination of the defilements through powerful mental development, particularly deep concentration such as jhana absorption. In this state or in this elimination, defilements are not just momentarily dispelled as the Tadanga Pahana, but are held or kept at bay at far distance more forcefully and effectively, unable to arise for the duration of that absorption. However, this is still not permanent eradication or elimination. When concentration fades, the defilements can reappear unless they are removed through deeper insight and path wisdom. It is said that this suppression or the elimination keeps the defilements at bay, at a distance, so they do not disturb the mind for a longer period. Just like when someone pushes away moss or floating weeds on the surface of water in order to draw clean water, the moss does not immediately return. It takes time to float back. In the same way, through deep concentration, defilements are pushed away and held off, creating a space for clarity and purity for longer period. And this type of elimination is especially experienced when one develops absorption jhana. However, it can also be experienced during vipassana meditation. Now, how is that possible? So before answering this question, I would like to clarify a common misunderstanding about concentration that many meditators have. There are two types of samadhi concentration. First, samadhi gained through tranquility meditation or samatha meditation. Second, samadhi gained through vipassana or insight meditation. A practitioner of tranquility meditation focuses on a single object, excluding all other objects. And this object is a conceptual object, not ultimate reality, because the purpose of tranquility meditation, the goal of tranquility meditation is simply to develop concentration. In contrast, a vipassana meditation practitioner observes various objects as they arise during practice, and these objects are considered ultimate realities, since the objective of Vipassana is to develop insight, knowledge, and eventually attain path knowledge. Since the samatha practitioner has only one object to observe, they continuously focus on that meditation object, always keeping it in view. Through this sustained observation, the practitioner develops preliminary or preparatory concentration that we call in Pali Parikamma Samadhi. I repeat, Parikamma Samadhi, and followed by axis concentration. We call it in Pali Upachara Samadhi, also known as neighboring concentration. Before that concentration develops, before entering the deepest level of concentration, known as absorption or fixed concentration, we call in Pali Appana Samadhi. Appana Samadhi. At this stage, the mind is consistently and firmly fixed on the meditation object. A common misunderstanding among many meditators is they believe that concentration is present only when they can observe one object continuously for a long period of time. For example, when they are able to observe the rising and falling of the abdomen or the movement of the feet continuously, they assume that they have concentration. Otherwise, they think their concentration is lacking. If you were practicing tranquility meditation, then your assumption might be correct, that continuous attention on a single object indicates strong concentration. But this is Vipassana meditation, and the nature, the type of concentration here is different. In Vipassana meditation, meditators develop Khanika Samadhi or momentary concentration. This type of concentration arises moment by moment in connection with each object that appears, and it depends on the strength of mindfulness. When mindfulness is strong and continuous, momentary concentration is also present and effective. And also, you should not forget the characteristic and function of concentration, which I have already mentioned only. Whether it is momentary concentration or absorption concentration, its characteristic is non-dispersion or non-scatteredness, and function is to collect or unify the associated mental factors including the mind itself, onto the meditative object. So even in Vipassana meditation, when your mindfulness is strong and the mind is clearly aware of the arising object, be it the rising and falling, a pain, a thought, or any other phenomena, concentration is already present, doing its job. So concentration in Vipassana does not mean keeping the mind fixed on the same object continuously, as in samatha meditation. Rather, it means maintaining consistent mindfulness with each object as it arises moment by moment. In Vipassana, the object keeps changing. Like when you observe the rising and falling of the abdomen, first you observe rising. Rising is one object. Then falling takes place, you observe falling. Falling is another object. So rising is completely different to falling. Falling is completely different to rising. They are not the same object. Then another rising and another falling take place. They are new objects. They are not the same one. Then another rising, falling, then another rising, falling. After a while, different types of mental factors arise. So at that time also, objects keep changing. When sensations become obvious, the sensations keep changing. And walking, the lifting, you observe right step, left step. Right step is one object, then left is another. When you do lifting, dropping, lifting is one object, dropping is another. And lifting, moving, dropping, they are different to one another. So in this way, in Vipassana meditation, objects keeps constantly changing. Despite the continuous changing of objects, if you can observe each object without missing, then momentary concentration becomes very powerful. It becomes very powerful. A single moment of concentration might not seem strong on its own. It may feel too brief or insignificant, but when these moments are developed in a continuous flow, their accumulated strength becomes remarkably powerful. It is like a single sewing thread or a strand of spider's web. Individually, they seem weak and fragile. But when many such strands are woven together, they become surprisingly strong and resilient. In the same way, each moment of momentary concentration may appear weak in isolation, but when sustained with steady mindfulness, it becomes a powerful force, supporting deep insight and wisdom. Right now I am talking about the concentration, that's why you may think it applies only for concentration. In fact, it applies with effort, with mindfulness, with faith and confidence, and with wisdom as well. Means a moment of effort, a moment of mindfulness, faith and wisdom may appear weak in isolation, but when they are sustained with continuity, with unbroken mindfulness, they become amazingly strong. So if you want to develop continuous and steady concentration, is similar to absorption concentration found in samatha meditation, then the key is to absorb the objects consistently without missing any object. For example, when practicing sitting meditation, observe the rising and falling of abdomen continuously. One rising, one falling, followed by another rising and another falling. Stay with it, object by object, without gaps, without intervals. When the mind wanders, thoughts arise, note them promptly. At the right time, if sensations appear, observe the sensation. If you become able to do so, then only will you begin to suppress the defilements for more than just a brief moment. That means at that time you will be able to dispel the defilements, eliminate the defilements more than a moment. With unbroken, consistent observation, moment after moment, your momentary concentration becomes strong enough to keep the defilements at bay for extended periods of time. Suppose, for example, when you observe the rising as rising and mindfulness concentration is present, the defilements are eliminated for that moment. Then when you observe the falling as falling and mindfulness concentration is present again, the defilements are eliminated for another moment. Now you have two consecutive moments where defilements were held at bay. If you continue with the next rising and falling, that becomes 4 moments. That becomes 4 moments of elimination. Then if you observe a third set of rising and falling, that makes the 6 moments where the mind was free from defilements. In the same way, when you do walking meditation, when you practice walking meditation, when you observe right step with mindfulness and concentration, at that very moment, defilements are eliminated for that moment. Then when you observe the left step As left step and mindfulness concentration is present again, the defilements are eliminated for another moment. Now you have the two moments where defilements are not present, defilements are kept at bay. If you continue with the next right step, left step, then that becomes 4 moments. If you observe the third set of right step, left step, then it becomes 6. If you observe the fourth, then it becomes 8 moments of the moment when the defilements are not present. So in this way, the longer you can develop the concentration continuously, the farther you become capable to keep the defilements. In this way, each moment of mindfulness observation supported by the momentary concentration is the moment where the defilements are suppressed or eliminated, and as long as you maintain this continuous unbroken observation of the present object, the sequence of defilements-free moments extends. The longer your concentration keeps the mind free from defilements, the farther away those defilements remain. And the farther away those defilements remain, the cleaner, the purer your mind becomes, the greater joy, rapture become obvious. As I have mentioned when I talked about the mindfulness, when mindfulness protects the mind, when through the protection of mindfulness, when mind is free from defilements, when mind is pure, naturally peace, calm, joy, mental bliss, mental comfort arise. So similarly, here when concentration develops and concentration keeps the defilements at bay, the freedom becomes greater, because concentration is more powerful, more effective than mindfulness, and the freedom become greater, peace, calm become greater, even the joy, rapture, mental bliss or mental comfort becomes stronger. When sharpening a stone, each strike of grinding seems insignificant and appear to make no difference. Yet when the grinding is done repeatedly, the grinding becomes thinner. The grinding becomes thinner, the stone becomes gradually thinner. In the same way, when practicing meditation, each moment of mindfulness and concentration may seem ordinary and unremarkable. However, when mindfulness is practiced repeatedly, one comes to realize that the defilements gradually lessen and fade away. In each individual moment of mindfulness and concentration, the purity of mind is coolness, peace, upliftment, and freedom from defilements may not be obvious. But when mindfulness and concentration are cultivated again and again, these qualities become significantly clear and evident. As meditators become capable of keeping the defilements at bay through the development of the mindfulness and concentration, meditators on their own will experience the freedom of mindfulness, the freedom of defilements, being free from defilements, then coolness, peace, calm, and mental bliss. Yogis, meditators will acknowledge that, because of presence of mindfulness and concentration, I am enjoying, I am experiencing these experiences. As defilements are eliminated through the development of mindfulness and concentration, especially when kept at bay, then the vision become clear. The mental vision become clear. Meditators start to see the realities as they really exist. And that arising of the vision means the arising of the knowledge or development of the knowledge. If your vision is not clear, if your vision is cloudy, muddy, dusty, then you can't see the things as they really exist. Reality is not revealed as it is. But as the vision becomes clear, then the reality becomes obvious. You come to see things as they really exist. As meditators, you will come to see the physicalities and the mentalities, their natures, their characteristics as they really exist, and seeing, knowing, experiencing the physicalities, mentalities, and their natures as they really exist is the occurring of the knowledge. So we will talk more about the knowledge tomorrow. For today, may you all be able to practice mindfulness, meditation continuously, consistently, and may you be able to develop a strong mindfulness and concentration. Through development of mindfulness and concentration, may you be able to dispel, eliminate the defilements, and through the elimination of defilements, may you all be able to see the things as they really exist.